Well, welcome back my gardening friends to my jobs for September the 3rd. Not sure when you'll get to see this video, but this is what I'm going to be up to ensure I'll keep on track. We all have to be vigilant, and there's some telltale signs of blight. You can see how it's just creeping up, and I have found one tomato that looked a bit sus, so we'll keep an eye on that. You see it there again, look, just creeps its way up, and then once you see it on the stems, then you need to take some action. So yes, keep an eye on the blight, and if we touch any of this, we must make sure we don't go nowhere near the potatoes, because they're looking fresh, clean, and if they got blight now, we would be in big trouble. And we're continually harvesting. As you can see in here, it isn't as bad, but we've got a few leaves there just turning, so whatever I do, I've got to be so careful. Keeping an eye on the pomegranate. As soon as that flower on the right starts to open, I'm going to get my brush out and hopefully pollinate them. Say we don't want to lose any of the tomatoes. Another job I must do is to remove these and take them to the wildflower garden and just let the seeds, you can see the seed in there, those are the black seeds in the middle of the screen. And I've been pushing all these seed heads into the centre, and as you can see already, lots of seeds have already germinated. The sunflowers are now food for the birds, and I'll leave them there until all the heads are gone, or until they all fall down. And just be aware as well, you can get blight on sunflower leaves as well. It doesn't affect the sunflower, but obviously it's passed on to the tomatoes, etc. I've now stopped watering the 2-year-old leaf mould because I don't want it too wet for when it goes through the trommel. That will be happening later on in the year, but I've stopped watering it now. Not as if we haven't had enough water. It's been raining continuously throughout the summer, and all the haulms off the potatoes have now been removed, he says, as the giant potato experiment still has one there, but it's in good condition, so I'm going to leave it. And another volunteer tomato can join this one. It's growing out of one of the cloth pots which the potatoes are in. Always looking to the future, and this very thick cardboard, it's 3 layers thick. My worms are going to love that. So continuing to collect it. We've moved over to this side now, trying to keep it reasonably dry for now. And just keeping an eye on the apples, but if the grubs are in them now, then it's too late. And we can see there that maybe I should have removed some of those apples. They're very small. The one conference pear is doing fine. And I'm keeping a very close eye on my plums. Go on then, excuse me. Not quite ready, but bar gum, very, very nice. So normally I'd be sorting all this. Bar gum, that plum was nice. All this compost out. But as you know, looking ahead, I'm going to need extra material to mix with the already good soil. And I found another 1 ton bag. Well, I haven't found it, I asked for it. If you don't ask, you don't get. And there's another container there. It must have been from the same lot, but another one's appeared. Excuse the noise. And this is all extra here, including the 2 bags that weren't actually in the cloth containers. And I'll add these to those, and we've already got them going all the way around there and all the way up to the other end. Jobs for everyone is to keep tying in all these raspberry canes. So everywhere's crowded, but keep them tied in, and they'll keep giving. Excuse me. Raspberries are absolutely beautiful, red and yellow. These are all tied up nicely there. Have to make sure Mrs. King can get in. These will be cut off, but because they're bearing blackberries, we'll wait until the end. But these runners, especially if they've got thorns on them, now that one may tie in, may not, but I may use the one at the back and just cut this back to about there to allow it to fruit next year. And as you can see, this one isn't very good, so that will need tying up, and all those runners in the middle of the screen off the blackberries are everywhere. Those also need to be done this month to keep everything tidy. My experiment growing the celery on top of this manure bin hasn't gone very well. You can see it's throughout, all side shoots everywhere. Now this is probably how they grow the giants, with the best seeds, but these aren't edible, so they'll go into the compost bin during this month. And I'll be checking this. If this is a yellow autumn gold raspberry, I'll be marking that so that I can transplant the roots to the bottom end there to replace the loganberries that we didn't really like. Lovely stuff, well worth collecting. So as we move away from plot 1 and down to plot 3, there's some sunflowers over there, really big heads. I've had some seeds off those. My sunflowers this time haven't done very well. So another job for September, I've got to replace the gate. There's my new gate. If anybody wants me to actually video that, I will do. I've made a start on using these slabs as an edging to help both me and my neighbouring plot holder. He wants to get some plants planted and get this trimmed, but it's very difficult when you've got that wire netting at the bottom and the weeds just run rife. I just want to take you down into the bottom of the fruit cage, because if you haven't already done so, you need to do something with your summer fruiting raspberries. Now I've already removed the old wood, and if you remember, we cut them off there so that I could increase the fruit. And look at them. I might even have to cut them again. And yes, they've gone mad, look. Straight through the roof again. So maybe I did that too early. But then again, it worked last year, so yes, we need to keep on top of this, so I need to get this sorted during this month as well. I think I need a new gate. It's had its day. Just trying to keep on top of the weeds because we remove the wood chips now, so just a matter of keep hoeing them out. The Swedes haven't done very well at all. I changed variety, so I'll be going back to what I had before, and I've been removing all the heads off the onions and leeks. Well, there's one leek still left. Collecting the wood for a fire. I've tipped this out. That needs to go into my spent potato compost bin. That's where I got it from in the first place. And this now has rotted down really well. Potatoes are great for helping to get that broken down nicely. Don't be frightened to use it in potatoes. You can tell I've been struggling for time. I'm supposed to be pickling these. These are the Sabutio F1, and they've grown really well this year. Keep picking the lettuce. I need to get this repaired. So basically that bit of timber there split where the forklift trucks hit it probably. These are two spares that they threw into the skip. As you can see, that's been bent over and that one's been completely trashed. I'll get that one screwed together. That saved me a few quid. Definitely grew far too many beans. Better to have too many than not enough. But there's plenty of flowers and plenty of beans coming on, and when I do get a chance I do like to pick them while they're like this. Excuse me. And it's been a warm day again and the celery's flopped. This is a new variety of lettuce that I've tried, and I've cut that back the other day and look at it already, and this is growing really well now. And these are ideal size. These are the pips from the leeks a while back, so shan't be short of leeks this year. And I will definitely be spraying them with neem oil as they get a little bit bigger. I'll be doing a parsnip reveal very soon. This first two rows had the liquid plant food poured down the holes I made with a crowbar, and these two are just feeding on the manure that's already in the bottom. So I'll take two even ones from each side and see if it's made any difference, see if it's worth the effort. This one's still green, so I did tell you lies earlier on. There's this one left, but while it's still like this, they'll be growing, and I'm keeping all those separate. And I think it's this one that I may have found a wee bit of blight on. There you go. So I may just take all those off. So I need to get that done fairly soon. Previous video, if you haven't seen that one, I found an awning. And you can see now why it was in the skip. The mice have found it. Probably made a nice little warm bed with that. So for now, it's stopping the carrots getting any wetter, because if they get too wet after they've dried out, they will split. That was in 4 pieces. I haven't had to undo the zips, so It's even got windows for the carrots to be able to see. Excellent. So these are some of the onion heads I've taken off, and there is one or two with a few seeds in, so we'll be able to use those. Now this head had actually got little bulblets, I believe, or little bulbs. They may grow next year, but this is absolutely full of them, so just letting them dry out. This is the Kelsey onions, and this is also throwing out little bulblets, and then it's also throwing out the green shoots as well, so they may be attached. So I'll get those potted up. Keep an eye on them, mate. So this one leek that didn't have the damage, again I've had to cut these off because of contamination with the allium leaf miner. So this will probably be the only crop that I spray with the neem oil and actually harvest, but that'll do nicely. And I did notice now that you can actually see the beetroot seeds forming, probably more so on there. So I presume the seeds are in there because they're a funny shape. So some giant beetroot seeds there, hopefully. So these are the giant cabbages. The neem oil seemed to do the trick. So this one's flopped over, but this is a 12-inch pot, a 3-inch pot, and the centre on that's really nice. And the pups are definitely putting weight on now, and they're even on the insides of the leaves. Ooh, that's actually solid now. So that'll be very interesting to see which one weighs the heaviest. Or do I take two? Well, I'll continue to harvest the carrots in the polytunnel, and I don't think I'll be growing them in the polytunnel again unless I do some for over the winter period when I actually raise it up off the ground. But I'm continuing to harvest the grapes, peppers. I think the last of the cucumbers have gone, but some of the tomatoes are coming nice. That's the Bloody Butcher, and I best not let the wife see that cucumber, else she'll be using that across the back of my head if she gets angry with me again. That container there has got all the little bulblets, the bulbs off the bottom of the garlic. I planted those up, they're in. So quite a few nice little jobs to do, and if you're anything like me, start one job, don't finish it, go on to something else. What are you up to? What jobs are you going to get done during this September? It's autumn now, and it certainly feels like it. Happy gardening to you all. I hope you're all still harvesting and enjoying your fresh fruit and vegetables. We certainly are. Thank you for the lovely comments. I'm nearly caught up again, but depends when this video comes out. Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.